Good morning everybody, and in a surprising little turn of events at 2 AM last night UK time, the LEGO Gameboy was revealed, and we're talking about this of course because there is indeed a Zelda reference. So this is exactly as the title suggested, a cute little win for Zelda fans, LEGO fans, and for a really awesome set for a decent price. Yeah, the Game Boy looks absolutely great, and we'll talk more about that in just a second, but to start with, let's do the big reason that you're all here, and that is of course our little Zelda references. So we have two included in this set. We have the screen, which can display a little scene from the original Link's Awakening. This is not Game Boy Color or Remaster, this is the original, and it is the scene of Link and Marin on the beach where they have that little heartfelt conversation. Obviously, she turns out to be a dream, spoilers for an old game now. And to be honest, I'm a little surprised by this. I really expected them to choose the title screen with the egg. I really expected it to be the shot of Koholint. So much so that regardless of this announcement and separate from it, I'm actually working on a custom build right now which celebrates Koholint and the Mario enemies that we find on it. And yeah, I was kind of really looking forward to putting this egg next to the Game Boy with an egg on. But either way, this is a really, really sweet scene, super, super iconic. I can hear her theme playing in my head. Now, we have to note, I really thought that this was going to be a print on a tile. We kind of guessed there would be a Zelda thing on the screen, or at least I believe I predicted that at some point back. It makes a lot of sense. But this is actually a vinyl element, very similar to the Polaroids on the Polaroid camera. So that's a little disappointing here, as I thought this would be nice and usable for other builds, and it still is, and it's cool, but it is still obviously an official LEGO element, but it is not just what I would have wanted, which would just be a sticker or a print on a tile. And I think the reason for this is obviously to make it thin enough so that it can fit and be interchangeable with the Mario gameplay one, and then of course the Nintendo logo one. However, I just didn't see the build working down this way. We'll talk about it when we come to the build, but it's a little bit of a surprise. Still really cool, but gonna make this one harder to take care of, and slightly less special to me because it's not a physical Lego print. Now, something that I can't quite decide on, I've been looking at the lifestyle images for the last little bit, is whether the game cartridge is a sticker or not, because included is also a game cartridge for Mario and for Zelda. I think by looking at it, I'm going to say it's a sticker. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because they were stickers on the original cartridges, and back when we saw the NES, we saw that anything that was a sticker, such as the safety label on the back of a TV, did become a sticker in the real set. So that Game Boy logo is clearly printed, all of the buttons will be printed, but I think things like the Link's Awakening and Mario cartridges will indeed be stickers, and then probably anything like a battery cartridge. Actually, no, everything else looks printed. So I think it's just those two, and then the three vinyl pieces, which of course will come pre-made. And I suppose that vinyl also allows them to get a bit of a shine, so I think that's good. So we've got a Zelda sticker and a vinyl piece. So certainly not exactly the biggest amount of Zelda inclusion, but it's about as much as I expected for a set like this. So the question is, as a Zelda fan, should you go out and buy this? And I would say no, this is an easy one to skip unless you're an absolute die-hard collector. I think for me, the biggest joy here actually comes from the way the Game Boy is built and the fact that I want everything LEGO Zelda, so I will be buying this because there is a Zelda reference included, and because I think that the Game Boy is going to be a fantastic build. Everything here is telling me that this is going to be on the level of the NES, which is my favorite build experience ever, because of the detail and the angles and all the different shaping, and I'm very, very excited to have the opportunity to put it together on October 1st. I'm going to pre-order and then see what I think, see if it turns out to be as good as I'm expecting. But I'm looking all over this and I'm seeing the angled techniques for the select and start look like a lot of fun. All the ports. There is actually a volume and a on-off switch, which I have to imagine will move, because I can't imagine a world where the volume is not on a turntable to scroll that, and the on-off looks like it's a 1x2 bread or pork chop piece, so I reckon that will be able to slide freely backwards and forwards in that slot, which would be really, really cool. My favourite detail, of course, is the fact that the screen and the cartridges can switch out. And actually, to go a bit further, my actual true favourite detail is that the undersides of the cartridges have the little clippy bits on. Obviously, this is to clip them into the Game Boy, but also it's just accurate because it's like the little teeth. And I bet you they've actually got a green brick inside to represent a circuitry board as well. But then again, that's just a guess. I have not seen inside. I think the shaping looks fantastic. I think the angles look fantastic. As I said, this is going to go great with the NES controller specifically. You've got the little stand as well, and it seems like a secondary stand as well. Yeah, you can see in the lifestyle images that there's a stand to display the secondary cartridge. Yeah, I just think this is really cool. I'm really glad that they're not afraid to use Zelda as an IP in these general Nintendo sets. This is obviously numbered as a Mario set. It is retailing, of course, for $54.99 Great British pounds, €59.59. So I think that's a fair price. Yes, you could argue that 10 cents a piece does not apply here, but as you know, I'm not a fan of 10 cents per piece, and I think that they've done a good size for what it is, and I'm happy to pay 54 for this. Whether I'll feel that way when I have it in my hand, we'll look forward to my review coming in October. But yeah, I'm really glad that they feel that they can use Zelda as this cross-brand thing and include it in a Game Boy set, because it truly is that iconic, and it's this little stuff which is going to, I think, make this partnership stand out. Now, personally, still hoping for playsets, and of course, we've got another D2C set coming in early 2026. Don't expect that on January 1st. I'm reckoning February or March or even April could be the time for that one. Again, I've done a video on that, and as more rumors come out, I will keep you guys updated on that. But in the meantime, this is cute enough. Obviously, not really what anyone was expecting, but really solid, and I'm glad that there is something Zelda-y in here. Now, we actually have one more piece of news to take a look at. Obviously, earlier this year, we revealed the Pokemon collaboration, and it has recently been rumoured, I'm pretty confident in this leak, that there are no Mario or Animal Crossing sets coming in January 2026. This does not mean that the theme is cancelled. I think there's potential that for Mario, it could be symbolising a shake-up. Personally, I don't really know, but it is the year the movie's coming out, so maybe that will be it. And Animal Crossing is getting probably getting sets in the summer. Or Mario's definitely getting sent to summer. Animal Crossing will probably get sets later in the year, or maybe they're going to take a year break. Now, there were two reasons for this. Immediately, I assumed that was so that they could sort of trade out a year with Splatoon instead of Animal Crossing and have both on the shelf. Then secondly, I wondered if it was to give more space to the Zelda D2C that is coming in the early half of the year. And then thirdly, once I found out that Mario was not having any sets as well, I think this is to give Pokemon some breathing room, because that's a lot of Nintendo IP at once. So we have got Pokemon coming and no Mario sets coming. I don't think this really means anything. Mario is not going anywhere as an IP. I really hope they don't change it, because I think the brick-built stuff works better at this scale, but that is a debate for another day. Anyway, I love the buttons. I think the screen with the window is clever. A little disappointed that it's only vinyl elements. It's going to be really hard to keep those safe, but I'm excited to have something else Zelda to add to the collection. I think this will display really well with the NES, so I think if you are a fan of the NES, you're absolutely going to want this to go next to it. If you're a die-hard Zelda fan, I think you're going to want this. If you're looking for something to put next to your tree, probably not the best go-to, but we'll see what we have in the future. But I think there's a couple of use cases, either as a Nintendo fan or a Zelda fan, where this is a perfect set. And I think that's what they're banking on. So let me know what you think of the Game Boy down below. I will keep you guys updated with everything LEGO Zelda. And just as a reminder, this launches on October 1st for $54.99 or $59.99 if you're in America. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you again very, very soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.